Yiberek Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ha'er Adonai puna alecha v'chunecha. Yesa Adonai puna alecha v'yisim lecha. Shalom. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, there arose an intersection of Pentecostals' new thought consisting of Christianity being mixed with pagan teachings and philosophies, and a belief in muscular Christianity, a focus on self-reliance rather than on faith. E.W. Keon, a Baptist minister, championed this in his writings and extended them with alleged supernatural revelation and positive declarations. Starting June 1946, based upon Keon's influence, there arose a group of ministers who blended prosperity teaching with revivalism and faith healing. Asa Alonzo Allen taught that the Eternal One literally before his own eyes changed $1 bills into $20 bills so he could afford to pay off a debt. Kenneth E. Hagin, however, did the most to expand this heresy. He made his own theology based upon his misinterpretation of Mark 11, verses 22 through 24, and Romans 10:8, teaching 100,000 students it. When television evangelism manifested, this heresy could be broadcast faster than those of other prior heresies. Prosperity gospel preachers voiced the same views of Simon the magician, who believed that the power of the Ruach HaKodesh could be bought and sold. According to prosperity gospel, Christians are entitled to physical health and economic prosperity. Paul had a physical ailment that he prayed about only to hear, "My grace is sufficient enough." Plenty of men and women have illnesses, sufferings, and pain which does not stem from their own sin, but from the human condition. Economic prosperity does not always correlate to status or condition of faith. The demon-possessed teenager was not healed because of the condition of his father's faith, but because he did believe through his doubt. The blind man was blind not because of sin, as the Pharisees believed, but as these preachers believe, but because it would be used as a testimony to his power, and also because he lived as we live in a broken world. According to prosperity gospel, personal empowerment promotes a view that Christians are over creation due to them being made in his image. Because of this, they are entitled to be over their soul and material matter. It is true that we are superintendents or managers of creation, made in his image. However, he has dominion over all and over our souls. He made us from dust, and to dust we will return, unless mass assumption, otherwise known as the rapture, happens. What we have in life is not ours, but is lent to us from the King. According to prosperity gospel, positive confession is the belief that they will get whatever they ask for as they have faith in him. This is true to an extent. His will should be sought out, even if we want something else to happen. Even Yeshua, when praying that he could redeem us in any other way than dying, asked for his Father's will to be done instead of his own. There are things that we might ask for that would be a blessing if we wait for his timing within his will. When the children of Israel asked for a king according to his will, but in their time they were granted Saul, David arrived at his will in his time. According to prosperity gospel, it's the belief that wealth is a blessing from the Lord obtained through a spiritual law of positive confession, visualization, and donation. All the Talmudim, or disciples, were poor financially but rich in faith. All the many believers were one in heart and soul, and no one claimed any of his possessions for himself, but everyone shared everything he had. With great power, the emissaries continued testifying to the resurrection of the Lord Yeshua, and they were all held in high regard. No one among them was poor, since those who owned lands or houses sold them and turned over the proceeds to the emissaries to distribute to each according to his need. Acts 4:32 through 35. To lead one to think that they will be blessed by donating to your cause, tithing at your mega church, or buying your book, you are leading them into hell. For you are ultimately saying that you are more important than he who made the universe. In the context of Malachi 3:10, the Judeans were not bringing all of the first tithe. If they obey him and his laws, they will have abundant blessings. If the church obeys his commandments, we will experience blessings beyond measure. It doesn't matter to tithe without obedience, just as it didn't matter that Saul wanted to sacrifice when he disobeyed. In Matthew 25:14 through 30, the first two servants are congratulated on their service not due to notoriety or material gain, but because their humble character and obedience. They knew that the $261,340 and $100 and $104,536 weren't theirs. The third servant is cast out because of his character and disobedience, for he believed that the $52,268 was his to use as he wanted. Abundant life in John 10:10 means content life is balanced with him being our answer for every emergency and trust in his provision according to his riches and glory in Messiah. In Philippians 4:19, Paul thanks his benefactors, but that he would, out of his wealth, which exceeds all human computations, would bless them. These blessings would be broad in the flesh and with a giving heart, but restricted in the confines of his will and their obedience to his will. John says in 3 John 1:2 that he prays that everything goes well with Bishop Gaius of Ephesus. He knew that Gaius might have a lack of some material wealth, and though he might suffer from a physical ailment, his soul flourished and will continue to do so in the realm of eternity.